Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now let's talk some super middleweight news, right? Super middleweight news. Hey, Canelo at super middleweight beat Jamel Charlo in a one-sided fight, right? So everyone's right now is saying that Canelo is in shape now. Canelo is back, right? Now, it reminds me of when Canelo was in his prime. It's kind of like, when was Canelo's prime, right? And you really can't pinpoint when his prime is, because a lot of his fights in his prime, whenever that was close fights or controversial fights. You know, like I was saying, when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he was 23 years old, and a lot of the narrative was he was too young at the time. Whereas Austin Trout win was before that. Shane Mosley and all that. That was before that. So 2 or 3 fights later, I guess it was his prime. He was a little bit older, 24 or something like that. But he fought Laura, and he didn't look too good in that. I mean, he looked okay, but Laura looked like he won the fight. So, a few years later, it's probably 26 and stuff like that. Those are the Gennady Golovkin fights, which those first two, he should have lost. He lost the first one for sure. We know that, even though he got a draw. And the second one, people would say, because he stood in front of him, of Gennady Golovkin, that he won the fight, but I would say it would be a draw. So it wasn't looking like he was any distance there. So that was my point, was that his prime? So you don't know. So now he's back, because he looked real well against Jamel Charlo. So that's good that he's back. But when was he gone? So what we're trying to insinuate is he wasn't back when he fought Demetrius Bivol. He wasn't back when he fought John Ryder, right? So Jamel Charlo comes in and lays an egg, and now he's back. Well, that's good, okay? Since he's back, that's good to see. So here's the deal. The Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez winner is supposed to become Canelo's mandatory. But when you hear people talk, first of all, before I say anything else, because everybody was like, you're wrong about the fight being confirmed. I still haven't heard if the fight is confirmed or not. Still, Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez, still haven't seen if it's confirmed. It's a big enough fight where they could have a press conference to announce it. That's how big the fight really is. But I haven't heard anything. So we'll see. But if that fight's supposed to happen on November 24th or 25th, great. But confirmation, I haven't had it. But you hear people, for example, just Pauli Malignaggi, a boxing aficionado, whatever, we'll leave it at that. Pauli Malignaggi's opinion matters for better or for worse. And he's just saying, hey, David Benavidez deserves that Canelo fight. The fans deserve that Canelo fights David Benavidez, right? Now, yeah, right, yeah. But David Benavidez got to fight Demetrius Andrade. And I'm just going to tell you. Now, let's start with David Benavidez. He does deserve the fight. He's the lineal champ at 168 pounds. Like I always say, he's made a couple of mistakes. He missed weight, but he missed weight on a fight right when COVID was getting started, when we're all scared and couldn't go anywhere to train. And he missed it by about 3 pounds, his weight, which I thought every fighter in all of boxing, except them heavyweights, should be able to weigh at least 3 pounds, 4 pounds or more, because they didn't have anywhere to train. So that doesn't count for me. Now, he lost his title again for testing positive for cocaine, right? Hey, it's not a good thing, but hey, stand in line with Tyson Fury, who's done that, and put nandrolone on top of it, and cheats with his gloves. I mean, they love him. So I don't know how bad that would be. But anyway, that was a reason to take his belt. Then give it to Canelo Alvarez, which I like to always note. Just give it to him, though they can fight him. So David Benavidez has won all his fights, looked pretty good fighting everybody and everything, had most of the time a little distance in all of his fights. So he is the Mexican monster. He's all that. But my point here is he doesn't deserve a fight with Canelo more than Demetrius Andrade. Y'all knew that's where I was going, right? He deserves a fight, yeah, but none of his fights against Demetrius Andrade, David Benavidez, would be David Benavidez versus Canelo. It's not for undisputed, right? Which it technically is, but it's not like he has the one belt left for Canelo to become undisputed, right? It's not like he's the champion and Canelo was the mandatory. All that could have been when Canelo came up if they would have did everything right, but it's not like that now. Demetrius Andrade has been after Canelo for 10 years. He deserves it just as much as Dave Benavidez. He's just as dangerous as Dave Benavidez. Who knows, at 168, I think it's a little different. I think Canelo has the advantage at that weight. Demetrius just coming up, trying to get acclimated to the weight. But Demetrius Andrade deserves it just as much as Dave Benavidez. Let's make sure that's clear. I don't have to keep saying, but I want to make sure this is clear. How the hell could a whole boxing community have a middleweight undisputed fight, one fight from undisputed, versus Canelo Alvarez and Demetrius Andrade, and all of boxing acts like they don't see it, doesn't even talk about it? But when we got Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, and they wasn't getting it done, everybody was outraged. Why they're not getting it done? I told you, if Errol Spence wasn't black, we wouldn't have saw that fight. If he was Mexican or something, we would have never had it. But at the end of the day, there's a little bit of indifference there. Let's go see that fight. Everybody noticed the welterweight fight that was undisputed, but a middleweight fight with one fight from undisputed and all the money in play, everybody act like they didn't see it because Demetrius Andrade could probably win it and become undisputed. We cannot keep letting people act like we didn't see that. If you do something that's a travesty, you're gonna get called out on it because it's a travesty. Don't get get upset about somebody telling you what they just saw. So anyway, yeah, Demetrius Andrade deserves the title shot just like anybody else. Most people are talking about only David Benavidez, right? Like I told you. First of all, I don't believe that David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade is going to fight first, but I hope I'm wrong like hell. And second, if Demetrius Andrade somehow beats David Benavidez, then all of a sudden all bets are off. Nobody will be telling Canelo to fight him. Watch what I tell you, right? Another thing is Deontay Wilder, Bronze Bomber Wilder, the baddest dude out there, really, heavyweight. When you're talking about pound for pound, 215 pounds, knocking out people like that, he knows what he's seeing. He thinks that David Benavidez is a little bit too big and too strong for Canelo. It could be. I think that David Benavidez' work rate is too much for Canelo. But I think Canelo could, I don't know if David Benavidez could take some body shots. He's long, rangy. He better be able to take some body shots. I'm not sure about that. If you take the body shot element out, the Canelo is going to attack. Canelo's going to get outpointed here. And it's enough dog in David Benavidez to make that fight a very good fight. I'm not going to say who's going to win because Canelo is a bad boy. Let's make sure that's clear. Has some pretty good defense with his head movement, upper body movement. But I think there's the punch, not only the punch repertoire from Benavidez, but how much he punches. It's a lot of volume punching coming here, and I think that he would be able to outpoint Canelo and probably not hurt him bad, but hurt him enough to where you ain't gonna just be following me around the ring trying to walk me down all night. And if that's not the case, then this fight is very, very good. When it comes to Demetrius Andrade, it's a whole different ball game. We'll talk about that if it came there, but that ain't happening anyway, so I don't want to even talk about it. Bottom line is, Demetrius Andrade deserves the Canelo fight just as much as David Benavidez, if not more. Doma Sports Talk worldwide, and I'm out of here, y'all.